Can we get a hand of applause here? Như chúng tôi thấy cho thấy lời Sai Xiong cho nên trong số vật lời của trong sáng hè tôi chỉ muốn nói cái phim người cho của hai cụ bố ý tao lùa hang. So for us to say a spiritual thought, but của Sai nên là một cái tam anh chị nhau tại yêu lùa talk a little bit about just marriage and stuff like that. Con mình chỉ có hồ hả? Sai được mình chỉ muốn cho những lần cho lâu rồi là cho all spend through a lot more, so cho đi theo trong sáng hè okay. So on there, me cho tôi có của hai cụ bố ý của ý cho của shop hay so I want to tell you a little bit about us. Like this is my wife Diane. Cụ tôi bố ni Diane. To ý đồ cái trái chỗ là yêu cái trái chỗ trên những chuyện nông sản là okay. So that is our home word over there. Nông sản people. Oh, that's it. Woo! Nông sản people. Yes. So I wanted to tell a little bit, introduce my wife. So this is my wife. Tao chỉ sau hôm nay nhon tao mua có cho xong nữa, okay. Cô lúc giờ boss mà mình gọi xong rồi. 22 years that we've been together. So I can say that I know her for more than half of my life, okay. And I just turned 40 last year. So all right, come on. Yeah. So this is my wife Diane. Church is in the Young Women's President. Young Women's President. 5 years. She's the Young Women's President for 5 years, and she's doing a great job. And she is definitely the rock in all the Xiong family. And this year she will be graduating too, as well with her. In May she will be graduating her master's. So, don't shine. All right.
Okay. Sorry, I'm going to speak in English. But when I stand in front of people, kind of doing things. So, but this is Sai Xiong. What can I tell you about him? He's a jack of all trade. Okay, so he's my everything. I just tell you guys a little something funny because one day when we first met, my mom did not like Sai. But so it's because he's very helpful in everything mom asks for. He's wonderful and he always so I'm really grateful for that. So this is Sai Xiong. Yes.
So I want to tell you a little bit before we talk. I want to tell you a little bit of a background between us, how we met. And so way back then, I thought Xiong and Diane was Sai Xiong, and we went to a wedding the groom to to friend or to Xiong and Diane to eat the friend. So I said and then. We went over to Sacramento, so we went down there and and so I met her at the wedding. This sounds kind of crazy, but right? That's kind of because when you know, right? When you know the other one, you know. So I met her, and I did ask her to marry me at the end of that dance, and then she kind of married, okay? But 3 months after that, I really did I asked her again, and then she said yes. And but we married after we met, and so. A little bit back on us, more ultimately to Taibu, to more Xiong, more Xiong, and so and that's about us, right? Okay.
And so I'm going to talk a little bit about being a married couple and kind of going through good times and bad times. And I can't speak for all couples, but I can speak for me and Sai and what we've been through. And so some of the things that we've gone through like hardships are like deaths in the family, like my dad, his mother, grandma, uncles, and cousins, and so those are some really hardships. And I think when you go through deaths in the family, it does bring you a lot closer together. And then other things that we've gone through is we were young and we loved investing, and we had huge financial loss. That was such a hard time in our marriage too, and so it almost broke us apart. And so, but we took the risk for investing, but we also realized, when we hit the lowest low, like what is really important in our marriage. And also anytime like we go through big changes in our lives, and like going back to school for Sai, and then I went back to school, and so those are huge just hurdles in your family that you have to go through. Good times we've been through are just all the support that we, like, I decided to do a bodybuilding show one year, just kind of crazy, and then he was crazy enough to say yes and support me through that. So, and then crazy good times, or even us going back to school, we were waiting for him to get a nursing school, and he got in, and then I decided to apply to the master's program. I didn't know if I was going to get in, and we both got in, and we were both crazy enough to decide to go back together. And having our children has been that's been really wonderful, and some good times. I can say like getting still in the temple, having the same goals, coming to church together, and we also have lots of goals and like workout goals and personal goals that we have that are very common. And so those are just some of the good things and bad things that we've experienced.
So I wanted to talk to San Hmong about, these are some of the things that you learn as you become a couple. And there's a book that was written by Gary Chapman. Maybe some of you guys might know it. It was called The 5 Languages of Love. Who knows about 5 Languages of Love? Heard of 5 Languages of Love? Okay. So that book was very beneficial to us. Whoever. There's 5 languages of love. And that's their interpretation of love. So I wanted to share the 5 languages of love and tell you a little bit what my wife's 5 languages of love are, or what is her love language. And so number E, there's like a physical touch, right? So some people, when they interpret love, physical touch is like, like this all the time, or you eat by there, right? That means like you love somebody and that's their language of love, like right? Another one is like quality time, right? A quality time is like maybe we'll go do something together, maybe like hiking or watch a movie, or we could just sit down and talk or something, right? This is quality time. The third one is the acts of service, right? Acts of service is the right? Like her language of love is right? And washer and dryer or something right? So it's kind of like a service. You got changing or right? Something with so that's the language of love, right? Well, because they would take out the trash, right? That's a service. So it kind of shows that we love them. And another one is the words of affirmation. So words of affirmation is kind of like right? Maybe something that they did because right? That's some people who need the words. They don't care about the acts of service or anything else, but they need the words. Right? And then the last one is receiving gifts, right? So for some people, right? Because right? So those are the 5 languages of love. So I want you to kind of think about what your significant other, what do you think your spouse language of love is? So her language of love is words of affirmation, right? So so she needs to hear from me, right? Or I want to tell you I love you, right? So this is really big for her. So right? So it's kind of like you kind of feel that that's not her language of love, right? So for her it's the language of love. So I have to make sure that at showtime during the right? Or anything, how hey, how are you doing? Would you call or hey, go back something like that, right? So I want you to think about your spouse's love language. And then the second one is acts of service. So my wife really likes it when I do things around the house. So the words of affirmation and acts of service. So I like my wife said, so I have done a lot of things. And so anything that whatever, and take out the trash, very simple, right? All those kind of things, that's kind of acts of service. So those are my wife's love language. And I will...
That's pretty good. He got them on point. So then Sai's acts of service. Well, I can say when he does acts of service for me, I'm like, that's pretty sexy. He's like washing the dishes and he cooks dinner. I'm like, score points. So he's speaking my love language. When he does that, I'm like, oh yeah, he loves me. But his love language is definitely touch and intimacy, and that's his love language. And then the second thing is words of affirmation. He definitely loves to hear positive things and praise. He says he doesn't, but I'm like, no, you do. But yeah, he likes words of affirmation. So those are his love language.
Okay. So something, what is the message that I want to, so what is something that I want to say to you guys that you guys will remember is that I think something that works for us, that's been working for us, is that we have to continually to ignite the flame, right? So sometimes it gets kind of, like we're just cohabitating, right? But in order for us to make it work, is we have to continue to reignite the flame, meaning show your person or your significant other that or that right? So what are some of these things? We like to go dancing, right? So we were taking ballroom dancing, that which we're going to see some more later on, and then we like to go on dates and we work out together, right? And then we do hiking, a lot of things we try to do together, and not just separately, but do together. And that's some of the things that works for us. Yeah. And we also like to also, I think something that's worked for Diane is that we have goals together. So each month we kind of have our own separate goals too. But we have our goals together as a family, as a couple, and then I have my own individual goal just for my own self. And Diane, she has her own goals too, but most importantly, that where do we want to go? Where do we want to take our family? Do we want to bring them to church? Do we want to continue on this path that we're doing. Where do we see ourselves in 10, 15, 20 years, right? Right? And so we kind of try to work really hard to achieve those goals. And I think we're on the right path right now. So we're doing pretty good.
Okay, so we talked about how language of love, and you took his interpretation of love, and you have to respect that. And so I think it took us a long time, because when we got married, we didn't really know to speak each other's language of love. I spoke the language that made sense to me, and he spoke his own language, and so we were constantly clashing all the time. And I was like, you don't love me. And I was like, well, you do love me, And so those were silly fights. And we still fight every day. We disagree about 90% of the time, and about just about any topic. And so, but we disagree a lot. And so we're not a perfect couple, but after being together for 22 years, we have to learn how to compromise. And so I know this is very cliche that you have to know how to communicate and you need to respect each other. Well, there's a lot of truth to that. And even now, being an adult, and I'm in my late 30s here, I'm just learning how to have crucial conversations. And I'm taking classes on that, and we're going to be taking more classes together, because sometimes we can't communicate with each other. And I'm like, what's going on here? And so I think part of that is being humble and knowing that sometimes you don't know everything. And even though you've been together for so long, you still need to be always always willing to learn. Another big thing is that respecting each other, that we're two different people. Because sometimes that's why we disagree a lot, because we're two different people and we have different opinions, but we have to fight fairly and listen to each other and understand each other, where we're coming from. And then you have to forgive each other, because I think without forgiveness, I don't know if we'd still be here today, because we had so many fights and we had disagreements about everything, and all the hardships, but we had to learn how to forgive each other and be kind to each other. It's so important, because we both always believe that there's that line. If you cross that line, it's never right again. And you have to remember not to cross that line with your loved one, especially your husband, your spouse. So just being kind, just being kind and being respectful to each other. And then picking your battles and picking your fights. Because I can tell you, I share this examples to some younger couples. And I always say that I used to get mad at Sai, because I'm like, you never help me clean the fridge or the toilet or the bathtub. Who out here cleans that? The men. You guys help your wife clean the bathtub? You do? In the toilet? Wow. Okay, but you know what? Look at the rest of the other men. They didn't even raise their hands. So anyhow, but you know what? And then when I said that to him one day, because I was really mad at him, and this is already us, I don't know, maybe this was just a few years ago, so we've already been together for a long time. And he said to me very kindly, he's like, well, you never helped me wash the car or vacuum the car. And I'm like, and then I just had this epiphany, and I was like, you're right. I never, ever vacuumed the car or washed the car or done anything with the car. So then I just realized, you know what? It's all good. I don't need Sai to clean the toilet or clean the shower or clean the oven or the refrigerator, because you know what? It's okay, because he never has asked me to do anything for the car. So now I don't fight about that, because it's okay to me. So just knowing to pick your battles, because not all fights are worth it. Because I almost thought we were gonna divorce over laundry. Who has endless laundry in their house? I'm just like, why do we always have laundry? And it's just endless. So, but we don't fight about that anymore, because that's just not worth it. So those are the little petty things. But you think that when you're together for almost 20 years, you'll stop fighting about petty things, but then you find new petty things to fight over. The good thing is that one thing I've learned over all of these hardships that Sai and I have been through is that the biggest thing is having God in our life. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional, but I know that if we didn't have God in our life, we wouldn't be where we are, and we wouldn't have the same goals, And I think so importantly is having spiritual goals together as a family, how we want to raise our family, how we want our relationship to be. Because I can tell you that sometimes people always say, always remember why you fell in love, but sometimes it's just not enough to think about that. Because I'm like, yeah, I know why we fell in love, but I'm just so mad at him right now, or whatever you're going through. But if you think about your eternal love and your eternal companion, you think greater than that. I think it gives you a purpose for your marriage. I know it does. And also, knowing that we're spiritual beings having the spiritual human experience, and knowing that before this, we picked each other. And of all the people in this world, the billions of people in this world, somehow you found the other half of you. And you just think about that, because if you kind of think about that, you're like, that is so crazy. That of all the people, out of all these people in this room, that I fell in love with Sai, and vice versa. And so when you think about that, and then you think about, the temple, and you think about your eternal, just your eternal love, then all these little fights that you have, or disagreements that you have, the good times and the bad, it's really all worth it. It's just part of the journey, and that you will fight for your marriage because no one else will fight for your marriage. You have to. And so with that, I'm so grateful that I have Sai by my side. I'm grateful that we put God first in our life, in our marriage, because there's so many times it's been so rocky in our marriage. And I'm grateful that Heavenly Father is here to help us too, because without Him, I don't know where we will be. And so sorry, I will leave you with that thought.
Thank you. That's true. I remember and for whatever reason, and then Ito Church, and then whoever the speaker is or whatever the lesson is on that day, so it was always, I always felt like God was always watching over us and just giving us that extra little that we needed. And so I will tell you guys that no matter what happens, you always have to come to church. Come to church and listen mindfully with your spiritual ears, and those are some of the things that Heavenly Father has blessed us with either time. So these are words that we leave with you guys, and I love all you guys, and I hope that you guys have fun today. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.